What is going on, good people? Welcome into the Delmarva Sports Insider, the only live and local show dedicated to giving you all local sports all the time. I'm Sports Director Trayvon Miles.
And I'm Brandon Bossert. Thank you so much for tuning in on this beautiful Friday evening, Delmarva.
Yeah, Brandon, we've got some interesting things from the show tonight. From the mega recruit hailing from Sussex County to the latest from a wild situation in the NFL.
Yeah, Trey, but we have to begin with the Shorebirds. They started this season just like they did back in 2019, absolutely red hot.
Yes.
But man, they sure have cooled off in July.
Yeah, well, I'm glad you said that, Brandon, because in short, a lot has changed. They jumped out to a huge lead in their division to start the year. At one point, I think their lead in the division was about 10 games. But over the last few weeks, things have flat out been different. The Birds went 2-4 on their previous road trip, which shaved their division lead to just 2. They need to start stacking some wins up to solidify that lead. Back to the nest on Monday, looking to reset, taking on Lynchburg. And this was honestly just not a great start. Indians prospect John Kensky Noel sinking line to right field. That's going to bring home a run. Shorebird starter Brandon Young gets out of the jam, but the Hillcats right back at it in the second. There's a shot to right field just out of the reach of outfielder Craig Lewis. It's going to plate another run for Lynchburg. Now check out, here's another base hit. This one's going to go down the left field line. Stop me if you want me, the Shorebirds can stop them. It was not going to happen. That's going to bring home another run. 5-0. Before you could get your nachos and get to your seat.
Yeah,
but
that's been happening a lot this season.
Put the game away early. Noel showing off the power. How about this? The Hillcats, 6 runs in the second inning, his 6th home run of the season. The Shorebirds finally break out in the third. Lamar Sparks, little shot to left there. Too little, too late, though. Lynchburg wins this game by a 10-3 final.
All right, Delmarva hosting the Hillcats again Tuesday in a doubleheader. First game didn't go so great. The Birds gave up 6 runs first 3 innings. Hey, it's kind of a pattern at this point. Nightcap now. Good start for the Birds pitching. T.T. Bowen scooping the slow dribbler there, takes it himself to the bag. Then the home half, Delmarva gets a couple of runners on. Christopher Cespedes up the middle. That's going to be a 4-6-3 double play. The Shorebirds offense just couldn't get that clutch hit. Birds flashing some leather, though. Watch the range from Daryl Hernandez. He catches the runner off the bag at third. That was a big heads-up play right there by the shortstop. That was a great play, but here's the play of the night. That fan grabbing a foul ball that landed on the concourse. He found a youngster and gave him that foul ball.
Nice.
That was great to watch, Trey. I saw it coming. That's why I had the camera on it.
That means
great play.
Win.
All right, and then Delmarva would fall in this one 4-2. Few fans shared their thoughts with that playoff lead dwindling down.
When you lose 3 hitters like we had the first month of the season, it's really gonna hurt your lineup, because you had 3 guys in the middle lineup that could hit home runs or drive in runs when needed, and we don't have that anymore.
I think they're as good as anybody else. I mean, all the teams are in the same boat. We got just as good a chance of anybody else of hanging on, making the playoffs.
Well, look, in my mind, the first interview said it. This team lost a lot when they lost guys like Gunnar Henderson and Hudson Haskin. Those were high picks by the Orioles, so we didn't figure them to be around for long. But that's what makes it so difficult to win in minor league baseball, especially in low A, when your best players are constantly being scooped up. It's tough. In addition to the fact that the objective in these leagues, Brandon, isn't exactly winning. It's more so development of talent and these young players.
Well, for the organization, it's more about development. Obviously, these players want to go out there and win. But tonight, Shorebirds officially have moved into second place in the division. This coming after 5 straight losses this week, losing 3 of their past 11 games. The Birds winning tonight, but the Salem Red Sox also win, so the Birds now a half game back. Now, what are some reasons for this fall off? Well, obviously, they've lost a lot of premium talent, like you mentioned, Trey. But the pitching has also fallen off this month. They're allowing about 6 runs per game in the last 2 weeks, and we have seen them fall behind by big margins early on in quite a few games recently. They no longer have that explosive offense that can overcome those deficits with the loss of Jordan Westberg and Hudson Haskin and, of course, Gunnar Henderson. But we will see if Delmarva will see any of those 2021 Baltimore draft picks like Colton Cowser or last year's pick Heston Kierstad, who's currently on the injured list.
Yeah, Kierstad, I don't know if he'll ever make it to Delmarva or
big-time power hitter. We'll see if he starts with the Shorebirds later on this year.
What's going on with that pick? All right, Brandon, believe it or not, it's football season coming right around the corner again, and I could not be more excited for that news. There are some other people in town also excited as well. The Salisbury University football team was recently ranked 7th in the nation in this year's Lindy Sports Magazine D3 preseason top 25. The Gulls stand as the highest-ranked NJAC team in the poll. SU looks to build upon the successes of 2019 and the 2021 spring seasons. They won back-to-back NJAC championships, and they made an appearance in the NCAA Elite Eight the last time Division III football had playoffs. Well, Salisbury is set to open the season in about 6 weeks on Friday, September 3rd. I cannot wait for that on the road against Albright. The full official schedule for the 2021 season should be out in a few weeks in early August.
Number 7, I think that's too low, Trey.
Salisbury football. Cannot wait for Salisbury football.
Absolutely. How about a local star now who was being recruited by some of the top programs in the nation? We featured Dennis Sutton last week, and he made his commitment yesterday, and the big fella will be heading to Penn State.
Pretty blue.
He's a Nittany Lion now. He chose that over Alabama and Georgia. Currently the 11th ranked player in the class of 2022 and the number 1 defensive end in the entire nation. And he will be heading to State College, Pennsylvania when his time in high school is over. But we have one more season seeing him at McDonough in high school.
Look, it's really hard to believe a kid that big is still in high school, but congratulations to Denai.
Hey,
and
you know
his
what?
Family.
That's what happens when you don't take any days off, even during a pandemic.
And that's exactly what he said. All right, in just a month, kids will begin putting on pads and hitting practice fields for football again. A lot of things are different this time around.
Yeah, that's right. DIAA has restructured its divisions. There are now 3 different classifications, and teams are now placed based on winning percentages as well as enrollment numbers. We talked with an expert on all things Delaware, WDEL's Sean Green, for this week's Insider Interview.
Ultimately, the goal was 48% of games in the regular season in Delaware were decided by 25 points or more. You make picks, I make picks during the regular season, and you sit there, and if there's 22 games, 19 of them, you already know who's going to win before the 2 teams set on the field, and no one likes that kind of a situation. You want to go onto the field, and the best games are the ones that come down to the fourth quarter. Either team has a chance, and it comes down to a big play at the end of the game, and we just weren't seeing that in the state of Delaware, both in the Henlopen Conference and in the Blue Hen Conference and the other leagues up in the upper part of the state as well. So the decision was finally made after years of trials and tribulations and other calculations to go to this 3 classification format and see if maybe this is a way to make the regular season better in the state of Delaware. You no longer have Seaford having to play Delmar and Woodbridge every year. Great rivalry in the past. When Seaford was a dominating program in the 80s, they were great games. It's just not that way right now, and maybe there will come a point where Seaford will turn things around, but now Seaford is playing in a group of teams with Polytech and Odessa and Laurel that they can be competitive. They can step onto the field for more than half of their games and feel like they have a legitimate chance to win, and that's just something that they have not been able to say in years down there.
Do you think it takes some of the soul out of Delaware football that we don't have a Henlopen and a Blue Hen Conference?
It is the negative. No 2 ways around it. You think about, you go to Smyrna, you go to Cape Henlopen, and you see those banners, Henlopen Conference champions, and then all the listed years. And is it going to be the same thing if it's 2A District 3 or whatever the banner would read? Okay, that's going to look a little strange. But again, it's a pro and con of a system, and to me, the pros outweigh the con in this.
You like the fact that teams can move up and down in classification based off of winning percentage, along with number of students?
I like the idea that we're doing this for 2 years, and then we're going to see where it goes from here. And that's, yes, taking winning into account. Just because you have 1,600 students doesn't mean that you're good at football. Charter School of Wilmington and Delcastle upstate can tell you that immediately. 2 of the larger schools in the state. Caesar Rodney hasn't been particularly to what they would feel their standards have been, quite frankly, in football, though they're still a 3A team in this system. I think looking at what's happening on the field certainly should play a point, and it did when they created this system. 3A, you have a system here where the regular season's been, quite frankly, rendered meaningless. All 11 teams are going to make the postseason. Now, yes, there are some buys in play. The 6 will play 11, 7 will play 10, 8 will play 9. So the top 5 teams will have a bye in the first round. But ultimately, every team's got a chance to play in Week 11 of the regular season. So I know it's a big thing in Maryland. Delaware's going to try it here. I personally would like to see them go to 8, but again, try it for 1 year or 2 years in this cycle. And if it works, great. If we get a 9 upsetting in the opening round, then guess what? That team's going to certainly say that it was worthy of having that first round game. And if they lead to 3 blowouts, then maybe 18's the way to go. Or quite frankly, if you want to make it completely meaningful, go to 4.
First of all, Sean Green is the man.
Truly
really appreciate him taking time out of his night to sort this thing out for us. Hilarious interview right there. Sean keeps it real. That's what I love about him. I really like the realignment, Brandon, for what it's standing for right now. I do credit the DIAA for trying to make more competitive games, and especially, I guess, when it comes to the regular season. Some of these blowouts we've seen over the last few years have just been terrible to watch, like Sean says, because certain conferences have those powerhouses that are always on top and have been on top my entire tenure. So this will mix it up and kind of give it an any given night type of feel.
Yeah, there are definitely pros and cons with this. Some of the positives, of course, we get more competitive games. That's something that we all want. We want to see more competition on the field. I mean, me and Sean, when I worked at WDEL, we would pick these games every single week, and we got 80% of the games right every single week. I mean, you just know who's going to win before they take the field. And then, of course, gaming the system with soft schedules. You've got Division II teams that are scheduling Polytech and Del Castle and all these other Charter School of Wilmington because they know that that's a sure 6 points. That's not fun. And then tradition of Henlopen and Blue Hen conferences, man, I'm going to miss having the Henlopen conference in the football realm because, you know, it's fun to have all of our local schools competing for that Henlopen Conference crown and bragging rights.
Yeah, look, we're going to miss the conferences, but I think for ultimately the DIAA is doing what they are trying to do is really good for football. So that's where we'll take it. All right, that'll do it for the A block. We're taking a quick commercial break, but when we come back, the Olympics are on and popping. We're featuring After the Whistle with a local athlete who hopes to grace that stage one day. Don't go anywhere. This is the Delmarva Sports Insider.
My name's Aiden Sanchez from Smyrna High School, and you're watching Delmarva Sports Insider.